I don't know what kind of books.
Yeah, that's it.
Going outside.
Yeah. And so she's getting them for pennies on the dollar, and, you know, my dad said, oh, we should take them to libraries, and I said, I would rather someone who we know wants it, pay just a little bit for it, and then they take it away, and I don't have to try to figure out where to take it, and they're
I
joyful.
thought I had one.
You took
I
all
took
of
all of them.
That's funny.
Here, pass this down to her, and I'll take the rest back.
Okay,
We need
I'm
to
gonna call
talk.
the meeting to order. It's 1:05. Dana, I just as an aside, would you bring the minutes from
I
last month?
emailed them to you because I didn't have
You
a copy.
emailed them to me today?
Yes, today,
Today, all right.
but I don't
Fire.
have a printer and we're lucky to have them, but I would like to go over them with you.
Before.
Before,
Next time.
okay.
So usually we don't do this, but we have new board members today. So we're gonna do introductions. I'll let our new board members introduce themselves. But this is Helen Murphy.
Hi, Helen.
Do you wanna tell you a little bit about yourself, or do you want me to talk about you?
Oh, that's opening the door.
Helen's a dear friend of the senior center. She was on the Senior Services Advisory Board about 8 years ago. And she served for a full year at that time. And then she was new to the community. She bought a great house downtown, and she was new to the community, and she wanted to get involved so she could meet some people. So she was on the Senior Services Advisory Board, and then she worked for the library and getting the millage passed, I think, and she's a quilter. So this is Helen Murphy. What did I miss?
I almost brought Spot with me. I have a blind dog now, and she has terrible problems being left home alone.
Oh,
I had a big thing happen in March, and since then she's.
can you kennel her?
Not by
Make her
herself.
happier in a kennel or no?
No, she's happy with her pet human.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's real dependent. I'm her seeing eye human,
great.
Yeah, that's the way they are. I had,
but I didn't bring her. I might put a skirt on and bring her next month.
And our other new board member is Deb Church. You go by-
Johnson.
Deb Johnson.
Deb Johnson.
Who is it?
Church?
I wasn't,
And
I've been
I
a
don't
Johnson
know-
longer
I
than a
don't know
Church.
as much about her because she's new to my circle of friends and acquaintances as I do about Helen. But I do know that she retired recently from LabQ.
yeah, well, in 2020.
Oh, that's where I've seen you before. Okay. Long
Yep.
time ago.
Would you like
Yeah.
to share anything about yourself with us?
Let's see, I've,
Ninth
My-
generation.
yeah, I believe so, yeah, ninth in the community, fifth generation to graduate from Bath High School. Silas Rose was my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. I have to use my hand, it's 5 greats. Remember,
Wow.
get them all. And I live on property that was my great-grandfather, George King's farm. I got a little strip of it, you know how often happens when the farms get kind of broken down. My husband and I built a house there. My husband passed in 2011. And so I'm around the corner from my brother and my dad. And yeah, I'm currently have a part-time job helping a friend of mine who's 94 live well in her home. And I think that's most of it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The King name, is that Tom King Junk Day, any relation?
There is a distant cousin thing, and I
Okay.
don't know how that one goes, and that's one of the few I don't know.
Where is your farm?
It was on the corner of Center and Clark, on the northwest corner. Yep, across the street from, remember Earl Clark?
Yeah.
Across the street from his farm. When we were building the house, we went to the, you know, look at the studs, and here's Earl walking through the house. We're like, well, hello. And he goes, oh, I see what you're doing here, and we realized he'd played cards with my grandpa, and,
Wow.
you know, so, okay, you can walk through our house uninvited, that's okay. Small town, you know.
So also at our table, we have Ben Barker, and he has been on the Senior Services Advisory Board for about 2 years, is that right, Ben? Longer? You're not sure? 3
Less
years?
than that, not even a year yet.
Not even a year? So I'll give you 2. No. He's new to the board this year. And then Dana, she has been on the board, Conley has been on the board for a long time, 6 years probably.
No, this is my second 2-year thing, but I was I was an employee of the senior center, so I was at all the meetings.
Right.
Back when we were coming, yeah,
Right.
so, it's been a while.
Oh, yeah, she's a great cook. Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
Fabulous cook.
Dana was at one time the cook at the senior center and the director at the senior center.
Oh, I've heard good things about you.
Lots of good experience.
She did a lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And bingo.
Dennis Lardy is our treasurer, and he's been on the board for how many years, Dennis? 6,
Well,
8?
with Helen, so it's gotta at least be 8.
8 years.
If she was here 8 years ago, then,
Right.
so 8 or 10, yeah.
And this is Cheryl Killerman. She is our liaison between the township trustees and the Senior Services Advisory Board. Cheryl is our trustee on the board. So, does anyone have any questions about who we are? All right, good. So the agenda is in front of you. You've had it for a few days. I would just ask if there's anything you'd like to add to the agenda. If not, I'll move for the approval.
Are we supposed to be turning on our mics?
If we want to.
I'm sorry, that's very cool.
This is all.
Mine's already on, apparently.
It's the rule.
Mine wasn't on.
Wait,
Dennis, we're on, sorry. Review and approve of minutes. So Dana did the minutes and sent them to me today, and we'll review them at the next meeting. So I'll table that. We need to elect a secretary. Kim Fouts was our secretary. She's no longer on the board. She resigned due to family issues, medical issues. So we need to elect a secretary. Do we have any nominations from the floor?
Just as long as it's not me.
Long
I'm
as it's
terrible.
not me.
Dennis?
Well, I'll nominate Deb.
Hey.
Are you interested, Deb?
Is there a second? First, before,
Second.
you have to have a discussion. We can't
Be-
have a discussion without a second.
Second.
Cheryl, is your mic on? So you've nominated and there's been a second for Deb. Would you be willing to do it?
well, as I hear the enthusiastic comments about this position, clearly it's well-desired. And I don't want to step on toes by accepting, but I feel that if I don't accept, perhaps, it could be a problem of some sort, as in no one else would be it, so.
You are absolutely correct. You are so receptive.
So
my
you'd
first
accept
rodeo.
the nomination, so all those in favor say aye.
Oh, yeah.
Aye, aye, aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.
Unanimous.
Thank you,
Don't you
Deb.
feel
That was
privileged?
unanimous.
I feel special.
First day on the job.
Treasurer's report.
And I've already been handed authority.
Dennis is still working with Karen on balancing out the Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton show, so we don't have a treasurer's report at this time. But do we have a flower fund update?
Oh, it's the same amount, 30, 100, whatever it was. I can't, no.
$30 plus?
Yep, whatever it was. It has not changed.
Are we supposed to be turning names into you then?
Yeah, but
Someone that
I'm not
gets
any
sick in
good
the
at that
hospital or
either.
something? Oh, okay.
Yeah, could I ask how that works?
Could we talk to Helen and Deb about how the flower fund works? So how it was funded and how it works. We're just trying to
Okay.
spend down the money, but,
The flower fund was, funded by euchre sets at the euchre game at the senior center. And then, they stopped doing that, and what we're trying to do is use up the money that was donated for that, because they quit playing for money in the euchre, in the center. But we will not go back to that, even though they do play for money. But anyways, if you're sick or in the hospital, we are supposed to get $15 worth of flowers. What it is, I just go buy flowers, arrange them in a vase, and take them to them. If I was efficient, that would get done promptly, but I'm not very good at that either.
Okay, how do you spell your name? I need to write about that.
Conley, C-O-N-L-E-Y. Yes, you are to tell me,
Okay,
we are not paying, we're not sending flowers for deaths. We would like them to enjoy them while they're alive. So it's sickness and hospital stays.
okay. And it's, we're doing that until the money runs out?
Correct.
But it sounds like your money's almost out.
Yeah, wasn't it 30, is it 32?
I think that, yeah.
At the
So we're
next-
pretty close to being out.
We're down to 2 people left, two events?
Yeah, maybe.
Let me,
Dana, how was the money raised in the past, I'm sorry?
euchre money, euchre set money was put into the flower fund. If you got set plain euchre,
Right. So
that's,
perhaps we can get that back.
no.
They said we can't do any money.
Well, we are.
We're playing
allowed to
for
do
money
that
now.
now,
Yeah,
but
no,
we-
it's
at board
reapproved.
meeting.
That got
But
changed Monday night.
that's not on the agenda. I mean, that's not where we are on the agenda, so.
Yeah, I don't think it will come back. 'cause
All
that's-
right.
They give out the money back.
And the township doesn't really like us having a flower fund because they don't like to deal with little bits and pieces of money.
Because all the money has to come here.
Be routed through?
And it just doesn't work. So they allowed us to dispense of this.
So we're spending down the flower fund because the past treasurer didn't want $30 sitting in an envelope on top of the safe that was the senior center flower fund. It was more than $30, but he didn't want to put it in the budget, you know, and take it out when we had to, you know, a $7 bouquet that we sent to somebody. So then they ended up putting it in an envelope on top of the safe and they didn't like that either, so we're spending down the flower fund money. So we had to put what was left, put on a card, and we're just spending it off the
Okay.
card.
So does that mean we won't do that anymore?
That's what we're talking.
Correct. Once the money's gone, we're done with that.
We can talk about reviving it, but we have to get rid of it first.
Okay.
Now, can we go back? You said, what is happening with the fundraiser?
What fundraiser?
You said we don't have a treasurer's report
Ask
because,
Dennis.
what's going on with that?
Oh, I have to, Karen and I have to have a mutual figure, a figure that agrees before it gets put into our building fund. And I think I recall we're like $20 difference, so we're pretty close. But we have not yet met to finalize a figure.
So, the seniors at the senior center have a goal of raising $50,000 that they would put towards a new building or building improvement. The history is that when we got the grant for the senior center kitchen expansion, the township was having a hard time identifying the $50,000 that we needed for a match. And the seniors didn't want that to ever happen again, so they felt that if they took the time and the effort, then they could raise $50,000. If the township were to get some money and they needed a match, then they'd have that $50,000 for the match. And we're at about $37,000 right now. And what Dennis is talking about is we had a Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton impersonator show. And so before they can enter the amount of money that was raised at that, the books between the township and the Senior Services Advisory Board need to match, and right now they're off by about $20. So Dennis and Karen are gonna figure that out, and
Dennis, are you over and she's under, or you're under and she's $20?
You know what, I don't remember that.
Because if you need $20 or $30, call me and you can have it. It's $20.
May
I
I,
know some of the problems are in their posting. They didn't post,
Okay, but I
Some of
don't
the
care.
money.
If you
Okay.
need $20 or $30, let me know.
just as an example, for the American Rescue Plan Act money, there was $20 charged to the American Rescue Plan Act for something that we purchased at ASAP Printing. So that's an accounting issue more than anything else, that
Okay.
they're just trying to figure
like a
out,
reconciling item?
yeah, get it all in the right column.
Okay. Can I just ask about the logistics though of, like the money came in, where was it? How, I mean,
It depends, like,
Just-
we sold tickets, right? We sold tickets for the show,
okay,
and the tickets were all numbered, and let's say we sold them before lunch at the senior center.
okay,
So that the money that we collected at lunch at the senior center would come up here to the front office. So they had tickets at the front office for the Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers show. They sold tickets, they would keep that money, you know, in, I would imagine they had some kind of an account, but they would keep it.
and then there were
so that we-
expenditures that were connected to the show?
I
Yeah,
believe the income, I think we're gonna agree on the income. I think it's the expenses where we have a little bit of a mess, because some of this stuff they posted in wrong accounts. I saw one specific
Wrong
one
general
where
ledger
they,
accounts.
they posted it to another account, and it should have been posted to our account, an expense. So in other words, I mean, it
So they might
helps
think
us.
we do have
It
more.
helps us, but they posted it wrong.
right, so it's just an accounting issue though,
Okay.
that they'll work out. And our money, this money, we call it the building fund, is separate from the township budget. It doesn't fall into any of the pages and pages and pages that they have for the budget. It's in a special account that's called the building fund for the senior center. So it doesn't get intermingled and it doesn't go back to the drawing board at the beginning of the next budget year.
Right.
It
And when
only
we-
goes
and when
up
we
when
get
we
to-
add money to it.
When we get to 50,000, they're gonna match? Or is that an old
That's-
story? that-
Well, we get 50,000, we'll hope that the township board will have approved building a new building, and we'll figure out what to do from there.
Gotcha, okay.
All right, so that was the treasurer's report. Good job. Public comment. The public is here?
We're having a craft show December 2nd at the community center.
What time?
December 2nd?
Yes, it's a Saturday. I don't have the flyer done yet. We're hoping to work on it this weekend.
But you're guessing what time? I asked what time?
Oh, okay, probably 9 or 10 till 5,
Uh-huh.
Who
somewhere around
sponsors
there.
it?
Yeah,
Who sponsors it?
Judy, Gardy, and the Park Lake.
Oh,
Friends of Park Lake.
Yeah,
We're doing it at,
Park Lake
we're doing it at the,
Help fund it.
okay.
or
Is it a
it's
fundraiser?
going, And then we're gonna take monies in, and the monies is going to be divided, I hope, with the Park Lake, Friends of Park Lake, and possibly, I would like to get some carts for the food bank if we could, like a couple more of the wagons, just
so that's December 2nd.
December 2nd, yeah.
So that is not a senior center,
Yeah, we're calling it the Bath Senior Crafters.
So we're inviting seniors to,
Anybody. I'm
Anybody.
starting out with the seniors first.
okay.
And then, any room that we have after that, will allow other crafters.
But
is there any
this-
cost?
Dana's question is it
We're
going,
working on that.
none of it's going to the senior center, fund, though, the board, the building fund, correct?
I don't know, we haven't really, Judy and I were talking about that.
So
we
it is
haven't-
not a senior center sponsored activity?
Elaine asked Jenna months ago if she could do a craft show at the
Yes.
senior center, and she never got a response.
And I also sent an email to Karen asking for the senior center, or craft show, and a trip to Bronner's in November that we always do, and I did not hear back from her either. So that's why I'm questioning, this is not a senior center activity. No, the answer is no. Okay, thank you.
In February, we asked for a glare protection to be put on the sliding glass door at the senior center, and it's still not done. And when they closed the center for a week, I asked Ben, before that week, could you please put that glare protection on that window? And he said yes, and he didn't do it during that week. And so I asked him afterwards. And he said, oh, well, have you gone back to Karen for approval? I said, Karen has approved this. It just hasn't been done yet. So, anyways,
And that's why at the board meeting, I asked for the popcorn machine back at the senior center, because we've been asking for months for our popcorn machine back. That's why I brought it up at the board meeting, so
yeah.
that's another.
So where is the popcorn?
they
It's
say
in the
They
basement.
say it's in the basement here in the building.
Can't we just get it?
They won't let
No, we
anybody
don't
in the
have access
basement.
to the
Can I
basement.
get in with Mikey?
They won't let anybody in the basement. And, okay.
Anyways.
I hear challenge.
Thank you. Thank you for that report.
I agree.
Did you have a question,
No,
Helen?
I was agreeing with them.
I think we just have a challenge we need to work out with the mics off.
We can't, that's what I said, it's a rule.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that, or we go around
Old
that.
business.
What about if we ask the chief of police to go down there and get our damn popcorn machine?
We're gonna stay on topic, please. Old business. We'll get back to the popcorn machine. PR and outreach. Our expectation has been all along that we would receive, as we have in past years, monthly reports from the staff related to public PR and outreach, as well as services and activities. We received a report from Karen in May. That was the first report that we'd seen in months, and we haven't seen one since then. I would still say that we are looking for monthly numbers from the staff. I was able to get some updated numbers, which I used for those data graphs that I passed out last week before we went before the board on Monday night. So, but activities, we've really not, we've seen a list of activities that are possible and a list of activities that Jenna has tried. And we've seen of those activities, which ones she felt were popular, but I've never seen any numbers. So in order to really be accurate about, in our reporting, we need numbers, and so we've been asking for numbers on activities and services, but they're slow in coming. I do want to talk about Tuesdays and Thursdays, because we were able to get the center to be open on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think that we will be more successful with being open on Tuesdays and Thursdays if we have, and the center hours have changed 5 days a week, 9 to 4, instead of 3 days a week, 10 to 2. But I think we'll be more successful with Tuesdays and Thursdays if we have some leadership in providing activities and events that people would come to. It's nice to go over there, to go there and to be able to work on a puzzle or play dominoes with somebody who's in there as well. But I think, for instance, we could have a tech class. I know I could use a tech class, both for my phone, my computer, and eventually my television, if I'm gonna stream. But, you know, I think that I just use that as an example. I think that we need some leadership in the senior center for activities and events that would happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Karen does have all the hours covered by senior center staff, but they have shown little initiative to getting things going. Anyways, so we do have a full-time recreation program coordinator here at the township, and I wanted to know if you would be interested in my inviting her perhaps to our next monthly meeting and talking with her about the possibility of providing some leadership at the senior center level, in the senior center for Tuesdays and Thursdays, activities and events.
May I add something? Would it also be helpful if we maybe came up with some suggestions for those things? Like really actively made lists of different things
We have
before we have that.
We have provided her with a list that was generated by seniors at the senior center. These are the things these are the things that we would like to do.
Yes, and I can bring, last month's meeting had a copy of that also, if you would like a copy of that.
Okay, then my question is, then what would it look like with her being here? How do you see that playing out? If she's already been given it, what is the purpose of having her here other than to just hold her feet to the fire?
Because, well.
Are you talking about our current program coordinator at the senior center?
No.
No, is that who you're
Not?
speaking
No,
of?
you're talking about the Parks and Rec person, right?
No, but she's asking, what is the purpose of having our current program coordinator in the senior center? No, she's asking, isn't that know what you're asking, Deb?
Yeah, if we're asking her to come to this meeting,
No, she was asking the Parks and Rec person to come.
Oh.
And the director of the senior center are two different people.
okay,
But she did say Park and Rec.
I was asking you all if you would like me to invite our Bath Township Recreation Program Coordinator to come to this meeting so we could talk with her about what, if there's an opportunity for her, if there are opportunities
Let's
for
ask
her to provide leadership for the activities and events that happen at the senior center on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
okay. So she's not currently involved with the senior center.
No, she's not. We have a program
Okay.
coordinator.
Okay,
why
so I
isn't the
misunderstood
program
who's-
Coordinator that's already at the senior center taking care of Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's a good.
Exactly.
Good question.
That's exactly the problem we're
Welcome to
having.
Meeting.
And the other problem we're having is the powers that be will not listen to us anymore.
Well, right.
I'm-
Okay, so
Yeah.
I have, we have only been open since the first week of September on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I will confess, I have been busy and I have not been in there much. I was in there one day. But I try to get reports on how it's been going and what the staff has been doing. While it's been open on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I've been told that they read books and,
The staff does.
that the staff
Read
sits in the
books.
office and reads books.
But wait, does that senior center person get paid to work 5 days a week or 3 days a week?
5.
She gets, no.
She gets
paid a certain amount of hours.
She gets paid for 29 hours a week.
When she's in there, she should be doing something, to me, not working
Okay.
from home, working there, doing something for the senior center.
She gets paid to work at home as well. I mean, she's not required to work in the senior center all the hours that she's paid for.
But those putting in the additional hours, for example, Linda, they get paid for those hours they are over there. So I don't know if Jen is working more hours or not,
She,
but-
well, I don't, she's working some of those hours, not all of them, that she's paid
I know
for.
Linda's working some of it.
Yeah, but Jen is working some of the hours that she's paid for here now and not at home, but she's not, I do
She's
not
still
believe-
working at home.
I do believe she's still getting paid hours at home.
And also, Alyssa is working some of those hours too. She was there one day when I was there.
Oh, okay.
Alyssa.
So if she's working at home to lead programs at the senior center, what, does she email the information to the seniors? How does she do that?
She doesn't.
She doesn't, that's
That's
the
the
problem
problem.
we've been having.
So who's her boss?
Karen?
Karen is the boss of every single person that works here.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so,
I hire her as a board member.
Supposedly, yeah.
But at
Well, it
the
seems
same
like it-
time, if she's there and she's.
yeah, it seems like the whole, the opportunity to work from home should no longer be as,
It started with COVID and just
Yeah, I
got
know.
left over.
yeah,
No,
and I
but
get
she
that.
never
But my
was
point
hired
is,
during
if she's
COVID.
gonna physically be on site Tuesdays and Thursdays now, then that can be the hours that she uses to do the types of research and whatever she would have done previously from home, as opposed to extra hours.
How
I
about we
would think
make
she
a-
would just do those.
Yeah, we've been saying that for months and months.
How about we make a motion at the board meeting that people are only paid when they punch in here or there? And let's see what the board
Subject to-
votes on it.
Subject to future pandemics.
Yeah, but it's still accountable, you have to account for what you're paid for. To me, maybe that's a really novel idea, but
Well,
People
it's
shouldn't
a
have to
problem
pay at
that's,
home
it's a
anymore.
problem that's everywhere right now in society with following COVID. I guess my question though, back to the proposal that we invite the Parks and Recreation Coordinator to the next meeting. Okay, and what are we hoping to gain from that?
Yeah, what's the point?
What are you hoping to gain? Because if it's to get ideas, is it to get ideas? Because she can't do that at the senior center, right? Because isn't that stepping on other toes? Isn't if she were to come in and do something, wouldn't that then,
Well, my intention in inviting her to the meeting would be to talk with her about the kinds of things that would be helpful to see there, a fitness program, you know, yoga, sit and be fit, chair dancing, you know, that she could, as part of her recreation work, include seniors in her definition and begin to provide some programming on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the senior center for the seniors. That would be my intention.
and I think that's wonderful, but is that also something that we have to route through Karen to get permission for her to put some of her work to that specific demographic? I'm just,
That should be up to the board.
I want to smooth the way, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we're asking for something to happen, and I think it's a great, great, great idea, but if it can't come to fruition, if we haven't laid the way for it yet, then are we just creating more frustration for ourselves and for those that we're asking to come and share?
Well,
We are creating more friction for ourselves, because everything you're saying as a new member, everything that she has said as a new member about this subject, is stuff we have been struggling with from the very beginning.
no, just in the last year and a half.
Yes,
Okay,
it's gotten worse and worse.
okay,
COVID,
yes. So, you're absolutely correct.
Well, and I know that, I
And
know I'm
so,
green and I don't want to, I am trying to learn and understand about all the logistics of this place.
so
going on?
the answer to my question, it seems by consensus, is no. So I will pose another question. What should our strategy be, if we had one, to see that there are structured programs and activities at the senior center on Tuesdays and Thursdays so that the center is utilized? I mean, why have it open on Tuesdays and Thursdays if you're not going to utilize it?
My question is, do we have to have approval of the coordinator over there? Can we just set up activities and say, this is what we're gonna
There's
do?
no law that says we can't.
But at
Okay,
the same time.
on Tuesdays and
We're
Thursdays.
not her boss. So is there going to be support or,
Right, we can't
Why
direct
is
her
from-
work
right?
because we're not in a position of authority over her.
So
No,
we
but
might
I'm saying if I set up, let's say I set up bingo,
Oh, no,
totally leave her out of it. I'll go in there and run the bingo.
Right, I think
We don't have to have her do anything to
I
it.
think there needs to be a respectful notification that that's what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And then the ball's in their
Well, that-
court
I
to
mean,
say,
Setting up a schedule, sure.
oh, I'm with you. I agree 100%, again, 100%.
Yes, Dana.
Dana?
My first concern is, I think we need to go to the board and ask them questions saying, why are we paying Jenna this many hours to work at home when the senior center is open? And why are there not more activities being scheduled at the senior center? And the board needs to know that those two things are happening.
I think they know, and they're just not willing to step up to the plate, would you say, Marie? Having been around, and I'm certainly butting heads as hard as I can
I
there.
know, and I understand, and I'm willing, I've been going to the meetings to stand up and say, why is the director being paid to work at home when the center is open 5 days a week?
She's called a director?
No, she's a program coordinator.
Excuse me,
Okay,
program,
but even a
so.
coordinator, how can you coordinate from afar?
Marie-
That's just- Go ahead.
Sure. No, my only question that I have with what you guys always do such a great job is Jenna under Becca or is Jenna under Karen?
Karen.
Karen, oh,
Becca has nothing to do with
Becca
Jenna.
Which is.
Becca is the recreation director.
She's the rec
coordinator.
coordinator. So there isn't anything that she has to do to direct Jenna to do. That all comes from Karen.
Correct.
Staff.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay, no, I'm just, because the way you're talking is as if Becca would have some input as to what goes on in the center.
I think that Becca could work with us and/or Jenna.
But she has to go through Karen to do that, correct?
That's who Becca works for.
No, that's that's what
Right.
I'm asking. If Jenna is under, if there is any coordination at all with the recreation coordinator, with the senior center, and you're asking for her to come in, but the question has to be whether or not she has the authority to be able to direct Jenna.
She wouldn't direct Jenna, I wouldn't even see it that
She just
way.
do her own, like if I went in and said, I'm gonna start a bingo game or whatever, something that's legal, that Becca is what I'm understanding, that Becca would come in and do this.
Well, there would be a plan for the month of November that, you know, on Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock, Bath Recreation Department will have senior sit and be fit at the senior center from 1 to 3. You know, I mean, it would,
So it go from Becca to Karen and Karen to Jenna.
well, I don't know how it would go, Marie. I'm just asking if people feel it would be helpful to have Becca, the recreation director for the township, begin to do some senior recreation programming at the senior center on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yes, Dennis? I was speaking.
Sorry, I know. I just want to make sure you could see me because you're always looking that way.
Brian asked you that.
I think we should have Becca come here because as I understand it, the recreation coordinator is not just supposed to set up recreational things for kids, but as I understand it, it's for kids,
Community.
middle age, and seniors. I mean, I think she sets up basketball for the middle-aged people and seniors too. So there's no reason why she shouldn't be able to help us
no
at the senior
conflict.
center. Yeah, no conflict at all.
Well, I think, so then what we would want to do, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So we invite her and we say, are there activities that you could maybe develop for us for the senior center and maybe lead those activities? Would you be willing to talk to Karen about it to make sure it's okay with her and Jen so that we can make sure that we have these additional activities? So that we're really very purposeful in the way we present the idea, that we are not looking to step on any toes. Like, how do you see this, Becca, how do you see this working? Do you think you could talk to Karen and just clear the way so that you would be able to do these things for us and work with Jenna or have her know about it? How would that communication work? How do you see that happening, Becca? You know, I mean, that kind of a thing. Does that make sense?
And it could even be one of us that leads the activity. It doesn't have to be Jenna or Becca.
Right.
It could be one of
Well,
us.
it sounds like the thing would, well, it sounds like
I mean,
we have
Becca could
challenges
set
with
up-
Jenna, though.
Becca would
correct?
set up the coordinator.
So I think it's best that we
Okay.
don't even,
Okay.
in this current situation, I think it's best that we don't plan to receive any benefit from Jenna in any of this.
But I have a suggestion then. Jenna seems like she's out there aimlessly wandering with no true direction. Which is not a benefit to the senior center at all. So why pay her? So if she's gonna be there, I'm sorry, I'm just.
No, that's.
No.
No,
that's
we've been
very
dealing
clear.
with that.
Okay,
We've been
and
dealing with
so
that
I'm like,
exact
from
From
question.
our brains to your lips.
Yeah. I'll
Okay,
say
this
it
has
out
got to go,
loud, unfortunately.
Marie, don't you
But-
think this should go to the board? And this is a problem that we're dealing with, continually batting our heads against the wall. And the board has an employee and her name is Karen. And she's supposed to follow the direction of the board.
That's correct.
And that's where we have to start with
does
this, in my
Well-
opinion.
Wait.
Honestly, I think we should start with your idea to bring Becca in and to very purposefully and respectfully and, you know, with discernment, say to her, this is what we're looking to accomplish. You know, do you have suggestions on how we can coordinate these ideas through Karen with Jenna? And to be as respectful and have everything documented, and then if things don't work,
But wait.
so that because we need to be above reproach in every way.
Right.
First,
So my.
because we have way too much of why isn't she doing instead of how can we have you start doing more? You know, I mean, we've got to find a way to do it as respectfully as possible because clearly we have a roadblock.
Oh, I
with
can
her
be nice.
boss.
I don't always spew stuff out like a brick wall, but I can be nice. But my other part of my thought is, instead of having her sitting over there aimlessly directing herself, Karen seems a little overwhelmed, she's got everybody. So have the Parks and Rec director lead what she's doing. It's under her umbrella, keep people entertained and occupied in an efficient, healthy
Yeah.
sort of a way.
I get the sense, though, that Karen
So-
would not want anyone giving her any ideas on how she should do her job.
It-
I
it
think
would
that's
be a
how
s-
she would receive
It
it.
would be a suggestion to Karen that maybe share the wealth, put this other lady in charge of what's obviously, what I'm hearing, not working out there.
Well, it's not that it's not working. This happened September 5th. You know, we haven't been open on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but maybe 4 or 5 times.
Right.
So this is an issue that I don't want to become a problem.
Okay,
We pushed really hard for 5 days, and I'd like to be able, at the end of this trial period for the budget season, to be able to say it was successful. You know, we have had, you know, euchre tournaments and bridge tournaments, and, you know, we have chair yoga 3 times a week with 15 people attending. I mean, just chair yoga, for instance, they do it on Wednesday at the senior center. We had 9 people participate. She does it at the community center, and there were 2 people at the community center. She has a much better crowd at the senior center, but
Right.
it's not within the purview of the, anyways, it's not offered just once a month at the senior center. So I think that but we have all these hours that the building is now open that don't, Tuesdays and Thursdays doesn't involve a meal, but we have all these hours and we need to utilize the building effectively and positively so that by the end of this trial period, we can show that it's important.
but it seems
And
like,
so
a-
my frustration is, how do we do that? How do we get to the point where, I mean, I would even do brown bag lunches with the police department, or brown bag lunches with the fire, EMTs, or brown bag lunches with a lawyer. You know, so we could, you know, at least have some educational stuff in there, and people would know what was going on. So there's recreation, there's education, and there are events, and activities. So there are lots of possibilities, and we've got from 9 to 4 on Tuesday and 9 to 4 on Thursday, that we should, I think, be filling those hours with structure that people are looking for. And we have a whole list of 80 ideas that people gave us that they wanted to do. How do we get that rolling? Jenna should be at these meetings, and we should be working with her to get progress. But Karen refuses to allow Jenna to come to our meetings.
Isn't Karen supposed to
And
be?
Karen refuses to allow me, I don't know about any of you, but she refuses to allow me to speak to Jenna. So we have a terrible situation with communication. Karen is refusing to talk to me. She is refusing to answer my emails. She is refusing to respond to me. So I am frustrated because without communication, you can't be successful. And in my understanding of our purpose, the Senior Services Advisory Board, is to work with the senior center to create robust, enlightening, educational, and useful programs and services for people at the senior center. But in the last year and a half, it hasn't worked that way, since Jenna was hired. Marie,
Then do it.
what?
Do it. You've got
You-
a whole group of very intelligent people. We have a whole group of willing people to do Tuesday and Thursday. You don't need somebody to come in.
They won't
and
arrest
tell
us.
you what to do. Just
Do it.
do it. In
It-
other words, on Tuesday, you want to have a tournament. Then do it.
We are paying people to do this work.
Hey, you
I'm a
are-
volunteer.
You are paying lots of people to do stuff that's not necessarily being done, and the budget is like, you gotta look at the budget, you gotta look at.
It's crazy.
But anyway, all I'm saying is that this board is one of the most active boards that we have in this township. Your seniors are some of the most active people in your realm that you have. So if you wanna have bingo on Tuesday, whatever time that is, if you want a bag lunch to do it after lunch or whatever, open it from 9 to whatever, and bingo at, say, 10 o'clock, if that's what you wanna do. However you wanna set it up, time-wise, just do it. I'm not sure I'm understanding.
Okay.
The roadblock I think that you're talking about is that you've been told that someone has to be there. We were just talking between us, a sidebar, which I always dislike, but we're doing it. There are people who are already there during that time, so.
Oh,
whatever-
they are paying staff people to cover the
Okay,
hours.
They're paying staff people to cover the hours. Now you go in and do your projects.
Well, we could have a crocheting club, a knitting club, a book club.
Whatever.
Right.
Just do it. I don't know that you have to have permission to do
Oh, I'm not
that.
looking for permission at all.
Well,
The center's open from 9 to
what's
4.
Becca supposed to do then, or what's Jenna supposed to do?
I'm looking for leadership.
To do what? You already have.
Programs,
leadership. It's sitting right
activities,
here.
services, and events.
But it's sitting right here. You have the leadership.
But I don't have a lot of extra hours. I wish I did,
That's.
because I'm already working other jobs.
But there are certain hours that you may have, 1, 2 hours out of the week.
But then
That
again,
you come in and set it up, and that's the leadership that you need. I mean, I understand what you're saying with the township, and I get that, but that's not there. But what is there is this group and the group that you have at the senior center.
So you're saying I could run bingo and maybe Dana will run some euchre and somebody else?
Exercise
Calendar
class?
out,
Someone
just
else
like
can
you
run
do your
bridge?
calendar. You do the same kind of thing. If you want to run the bingo on 2 Thursdays or 2 Tuesdays out of the month, then you run bingo on whatever days those are, and you have a calendar of activities. You guys are so good at what you do that pulling in and asking permission, unless there's something that you need to ask permission about, I'm not sure I'm understanding that. It's just organizing it. And you already do a great job of that.
Okay.
And we already like to volunteer our hours for stuff, so,
If you have, if
I don't have a
the time
problem
break,
with-
If she doesn't, then she doesn't have it.
yeah, I don't have a problem working over there with Jenna sitting in the office reading. I mean, that's Karen's
Okay,
problem.
Seriously. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
what
Karen's
difference
problem.
does that make?
Yeah.
Well, it's
You're
our
already
seniors'
paying
problem.
taxes for a lot of
it's
stuff.
shameful.
It's our
Maria.
senior,
I'm
it's our
is.
seniors'
sorry, And I'm
problem.
not
I
speaking
agree
to
with
you,
that. I
but it
agree
is
with that.
shameful.
I think
We are
it's
paying
shameful.
people to work, and it shouldn't fall on us. I am sorry.
I agree.
I
needs to
would
come
agree- I would agree with you 100% on
We
that.
are capable. We
You
are
very
busy.
capable.
We are capable and we are
But
busy.
you're running into brick wall after brick wall after brick wall.
Right.
So
Correct.
what happens, and all that brick wall tells you, is that nothing's happening over there, so we're gonna close it.
Personally, I'm gonna tell you, I completely understand where you're coming from, Judy, because this is like, when I was a foster parent, and you want to get things done, and you care about this kid, and you can't get anyone to listen to you, and so you spend your money, you spend your time above and beyond what you even have. The day my mom died, that day, we took our foster child to Potters Park because there was an event. That same day, I lost my mom. Because the pressure to keep that kid in activities and hearing yourself trashed in court. Because what is happening with it? Is she in Girl Scouts? Is she doing this? Is she doing that? And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I am spending 5 or 6 days, every single week, I have to do something where I have to leave my home for activities for this child. And you do it for the child. And here we are, and we're concerned about our seniors not having activities and everything. But you're right. There's someone being paid to provide that. They're not providing it. And so who does it fall on? It falls on the people who have a heart for this activity, for this ministry. And it's wrong. So how do we start this way? Do we start as being the volunteers and then bring it up to shame others? Is that a plan?
Yep.
So we're not doing this long-term. We do it to start, to show what is possible, what should happen, and we go from there.
That's the example.
Because there's two.
Because Judy's right, they're getting paid.
And they're not doing, they're not helping.
Right.
Right,
But there seems to be no expectation from a little higher up.
that is
they do.
correct.
And that falls.
And there's
on the board.
protection too. There's protection.
What
Telling someone that Judy can't talk to them,
Oh, she,
there's
No,
a,
it's
there's a
not.
protection. No,
It's not just Judy.
she told every single person, and I was there in the meeting, so were you, that we all in that meeting were not allowed to talk to any staff. She
See, I
can't do
don't
it to me
understand that
I'm on the
because
board.
I totally
Everybody
respect
else.
saying you're not to direct her work.
Nope, there's no speaking.
But to have no not to be able to ask questions, not to be able to
Say hello.
say, well, whatever.
Well, we
It
say
was-
hello.
It creates, but it creates,
But that was her.
I'll just give you an example. Jenna announced several months ago that she was wondering if anyone at the senior center would be interested in listening to someone from an international person come in and speak. And there wasn't a lot of enthusiasm, and I had to talk about something after Jenna made her announcement. And I said, Lansing is a member of the Lansing Regional we have a Regional Sister Cities Commission, and we have 7 sister cities around the world. If we want an international speaker, perhaps we could get someone from one of our sister cities somewhere around the world, and then we could learn from them. There's opportunities to travel back and forth to that country with groups of people, and would you be more interested in that? Well, that hurt Jenna. And she was very angry that I had suggested that we could take that same topic and embellish it and make it a little bit better. Because she feels that I'm bossy and that whenever I say anything, I'm telling her what to do. And it's not true. I'm just making suggestions. We are having an international speaker on Monday. They're coming from Uganda. Now, my daughter was in the Peace Corps in Uganda. I have lots of information about Uganda and things that we could do to support people in Uganda, both for education and health education, and girls going to school. But do I dare make the suggestion, even during the presentation, that there might be a relationship that we could establish with people, real people in Uganda that would be helpful? I feel like I shouldn't even make a suggestion. So, I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, you should.
To feel that way.
You should make a suggestion.
Make a suggestion.
Elaine?
Judy's daughter came and spoke, and it was amazing. I don't know how many people got to listen, but.
Well, that was because Jenna would never announce it. Joy found that my daughter was returning from being a Peace Corps director in Moldova, right next to Ukraine. And she was returning, she would be here for a couple of days, and Joy wanted her to come in and speak to the seniors, and so she asked Jenna. And Jenna said she couldn't tell her. So Joy asked Karen. Joy asked us, and we asked Karen. Joy wrote us a letter, and we asked Karen. And Karen never responded. And because Jenna didn't respond and Karen didn't respond, Jenna never announced that Hannah would, we set a date. It was not to conflict with anything. And Jenna would never announce that Hannah was there and never introduced her the day she came. It was embarrassing. And Hannah did speak about her work in Moldova. But it's just an example of how frustrating it is. For me personally, I mean, I often feel like Karen is just putting pressure on me to leave. You know, I mean, I really feel that way because she, in my opinion, she's very disrespectful to all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Judy, that's why I say, just
Do it.
Well, I feel, Marie, that if we don't take control, I don't mean to say take control, but if we don't advise on Tuesdays and Thursdays, she'll say it wasn't successful and close it.
how can you say that when in fact it's proven by the calendar that it is? So I'm not sure that.
And it will have to come up for a board vote, believe me.
Well, it'll be part of the budget process, because the budget will determine whether we're open for 3 days or 5 days.
Not really. I think if it comes to a board vote, it's going to be so public that I don't think we're going to get to that
we need to
point.
pack the place with seniors for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
What'd she say?
That's helpful. Pack
She
the
said
place.
fill half the place with seniors.
Yep.
So what I say, all right, we're November 9th, we've already talked about, we're going to Bronner's, but we need a calendar of some sort, whether it's a paper calendar on the wall, so I can plug in November 9th, this o'clock, and what we're gonna do. And
Great
then
big calendar.
a big calendar.
Great big
So that's what we need if we're
Dry
gonna.
erase, I think a huge dry
Well-
erase one. There you go.
We need to, so that I can, like, I know we're going November 9th. I mean, and I've said that, you know, it was a senior center activity for 10 years. Now it's an individual one because I've been doing it, because anyways. But I need to know ahead of time. I can't have one dry erase unless it's got the whole year on it, and that's not. So that I can pencil in November 9th, Bronner's, and the time.
I see what you mean, okay.
So that I know
Or
today
at
when
least
we're
6
going.
months ahead. that
Yes,
We could have.
yes.
a
Well,
calendar.
hopefully it will be on the calendar of events that Jenna creates for the
It-
November.
We can't go
No,
hopefully. though.
I need it ahead of time. I know right now, today, I've known for 2 months when we're going. And I need that on the calendar.
Whose calendar
In the
is that?
building.
In the building, in the
In the
calendar
building.
at the senior center.
Is there a calendar in the senior center?
No,
There used to be one hanging on the wall, but there isn't.
Okay, there used to be a published calendar that said,
But-
you know, November 9th,
A
this
pull,
is
like paper,
happening.
piece
This-
of paper?
it is.
You could print it out offline.
There is, but it's only-
Next to the menu, there was a tab so you could have.
There
a
there
calendar.
still is
No.
that, but it's only, it's under activities. Yes, it's still there.
So she
I
puts
can
a
show you.
menu-
All over the place.
she
She
put-
has a list of activities, but I didn't see a calendar out there. and
There
I-
is no calendar.
and
There
that's
is a
what I'm
list.
looking for. I want a
Calendar.
calendar like
There
you're
used to be
saying,
one hanging
online.
on the wall for people to write the activities on. So you could look at the month and at a glance and see that she could put that on there and someone could look up to November and see that Bronner's is
I'd
there.
kind of like to have both.
Because I knew people.
I'd like to have a big one
On it.
that has this month,
And then,
and it's kind of festively done. You know what I mean? Like Bronner's would have like little mistletoe and stuff on
Yep.
it, and Christmas trees and whatever. And then I'd like to have one that is still nice size, but that flips up
Big
so people
paper.
can see the future.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like both.
And I think it would be great to have a big Post-it, you know, they have those big Post-it, where you could say, you know, Wednesday, after lunch, 1 o'clock, speaker, 3 o'clock. Bingo, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm talking large, a large calendar here.
maybe all three, a paper one that flips up so you can see what's happening in November, one that's just put your notes up there, like write.
For honors.
Well, that would be on a calendar too, but something happens in 3 days, I could write on there.
Suggestions, yeah.
Just So all three things would be, have a different purpose.
Do we have a big TV in there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of fabulous movies, like old movies.
Yeah, we do.
well, we've been trying to get Jenna to do a movie and popcorn. I mean, that'd be a great thing to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but Dana,
She's here in the building.
Okay.
that's fine, why isn't she here?
I don't know. She just walked in.
When they talked about the popcorn machine, one of the things they said, which I found very interesting, that they got a rebuttal from it, was they need to clean it and put supplies. But that can be done at any time, any place.
Yeah, Dana said
Right.
that, she would clean it. Right.
Seriously.
Also, and I don't know where this is or if it's in the basement, and maybe I'll get the chief to go down there with me, that some friend of mine donated bicycles and exercise machines to the senior center. I don't know where they are. This was a year, 2, 3 ago, and I have no idea.
But where would they fit in the senior center?
Well, that's
when you
a
also try
problem
to
now,
put
but where are they? Who took them?
PD has,
Who
PD, police department.
has,
Well, they've talked about, I've never seen them, but I know it's been mentioned that they have an activity room.
right, but
They do have
these
a-
were donated to the senior center,
I'm just.
but I wonder what's in the basement, so.
There is a workout room down there. I've
What?
seen it. There's a
In this
workout.
basement? Here? Or
Yes,
is it-
ma'am.
Yep.
There is.
And there's a workout room at the fire department too,
Oh, is
But
there
if
in the fire?
nobody's allowed in the basement, who works out in that workout?
The police.
the police.
Oh, it's the police workout
The
room.
police can take us in the basement. You
Yeah,
don't have to go through Karen.
Okay.
damn right.
If
Oh,
I committed a
I
small
think that this
misdemeanor,
discussion,
would they
even though it's
maybe
been
give me
frustrating,
access?
has, we've come up with some
Not a
great
real bad one.
suggestions. So one is for a monthly a calendar.
Yearly?
Or maybe it should be quarterly or yearly calendar.
Yep.
That would be posted at the senior center. Now, I imagine you can probably buy something like that in an office supply store?
Yep.
Or are you thinking about something bigger than that, Dana?
And an
Amazon
office
probably has
supply
everything,
saw.
or
I
Amazon.
mean, you know,
Yeah, I want
yeah,
for people to
something
be able to
that
flip.
seniors can look at and say, oh, on the 9th at
Because seniors are
Rogers.
not, you know, I mean, I know we do have some high-tech seniors, but
Right.
I know my
So-
dad's not. I'll
Right,
tell you
so,
what.
Dana, do you want to buy that big calendar?
I
so
certainly will.
Meet your needs?
Look at Amazon, you can probably find
certainly will.
everything you can.
Okay, and then
Well,
secondly,
do we need permission to hang it in the senior center?
we'll find out.
I'll give you permission.
Thank you.
So secondly, we've talked about
Blame it on me.
taking and some initiative, which I think Marie is talking about, and coordinating activities and events ourselves. So I'm wondering, should we have a little subcommittee that talks about that, and we can put a schedule together and bring some ideas forward? Or do you want to just say, let me look at my planner, I'm free next Tuesday afternoon, I'll go in there and we'll play canasta? I
Yep.
mean, how do you want to handle that?
What have we decided? Are we gonna ask Becca to come in and discuss this stuff with us?
I've heard no, I mean, I didn't
I
get a
think we should.
consensus.
We
I
could
think we
vote on
should.
it.
Yeah.
There's no harm to it.
Well, it's not super big, the
don't
12 is
think we
only,
need
the
to have
12 is only that
But
big.
we can talk
We figured that it would help because
Yeah.
in my opinion, since she's
Here's
supposed
an
to
laminated
plan
one, but this-
activities for the whole township, seniors are included in that, so she should be scheduling things for seniors.
I went to
Maybe
the
we have to
rec,
bring
I
her
went
back.
to the rec committee last Monday night, and I told her that, I made that suggestion.
Okay.
And I asked her if she would be willing to help us initiate activities and events at the senior center so that she could serve that population. And she nodded her head. Karen wasn't at the meeting. The rec committee, I go to the rec committee meeting, and who's here? The staff person. Becca was here, and Ben was here. You know, I mean, that's how it should be. You know, in senior center meeting, Jenna should be here, and Mary should be here. But it doesn't work that way. But anyway, so how do you want to handle taking on some responsibility for activities at the senior center?
Elaine had a comment.
I'd also like to see a bulletin board with like 3x5 cards available for if seniors have something like a refrigerator or something that they want to get rid of. That would be nice. So like if Dana's getting a board, that could be posted over there also. Or if you've got, I don't know, if you know somebody.
She's
that-
no longer in the building.
If you know someone that does lawn mowing and you want to suggest it, you know, for seniors that do it.
Do you have a bulletin board at home?
No.
So a
Well, I
cork
do,
board
but
or
it's
something
on my
like
Cork
that?
board she's talking about. What?
Like is that the, pin them up?
I'll get
Yeah.
this, get
The big
a
month
board or
one?
something like that.
Right.
Right. So,
Still not sure that's what I had in mind.
like I said, these were good
Thinking months
suggestions,
forward.
so how are we gonna move forward to take on this? What are the suggestions?
Well, I'm buying a calendar, and I might buy one or more. I might buy the big monthly calendar and whatever. I am going to start planning my Bronner's trip, because we all know about that.
I'll go.
You sign up. So this is where the logistics come in. Dennis will have to get a hold of me. I am going to I'll contact Clinton County Transit, see if they'll take us. So I guess I'm in charge of that.
Now,
And that's November the
Kim,
9th, did you say?
November
can you
9th.
still drive like the
What we're gonna
township?
do?
I guess it's legal. I'm
Because
an
you're an
employee
employee.
of
We
the,
have all
we
filled
all
out
are.
we have all filled out our 1099s.
And
We
then
are
we're all employees, so there's no reason why
They
anybody
cannot
that's
deny that we
paid.
are employees, they
Yep.
asked us to fill out those 1099s.
Yep.
Okay,
Right.
so I'm gonna be in charge of that. What we're doing, we're leaving early, we're gonna stop and have breakfast at Tony's, where
Oh,
they
wait,
have
wait.
the 1 pound BLTs, and then we're gonna go to Bronner's. We're doing it different than last
So if
time.
we ask this far ahead, what is the chance of us getting the church van or the township van so we don't have to pay the blue bus?
I don't think we have to pay the blue bus.
No, they're free, I think they're free.
They're
Is it free? Oh.
I
To
think
leave,
what
to
we
leave the
would do
county
is-
though? They're free when they leave the county?
Yeah,
I think so.
I believe so. I will check on that. That's
Okay.
my job. I'm doing November 9th.
I got you down.
All right.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who could take responsibility for
I'll come up with an activity, I don't know what it will be yet, but I'll come up with an activity to either do on a Tuesday or a Thursday.
And then would you post it?
Yep, I'll post it.
How would it be
and-
posted?
We gotta get our board up.
Well, it's gonna be on the calendar, can be on the calendar.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have to make a sign-up sheet, so I'll make up a sign-up sheet for, I mean, so that's,
Okay.
you know, yeah,
How late, do we have the senior center open? I'm sorry.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock? So, and when does school get out? Like 3, 2, 3?
Depends on the grade level.
Okay, so, high school students, especially those in National Honor Society, might be willing to come, a lot of them are in band, might be willing to come and do a little musical performance sometime.
Yep, we have, yep.
So we could work with the,
That's your
school?
responsibility, Deb, thank you
Oh,
for
man.
volunteering.
Dennis, you just got popcorn and a movie.
yeah, but I do,
I could do that.
if you can do the movies, but I own a lot of movies. I own a lot of TCM.
I've got thousands of DVDs.
Oh, that would be twice a month, would be awesome.
I got a lot more than that. And mine are all good ones, I don't have any of the horror ones, or any of those kind of things.
So you're in
Mine are
charge.
all Disney.
Now, every once in a while, there needs to be a Vincent Price in there, I'm just gonna
So
say.
Dennis, are you gonna do popcorn in a movie and do that regularly,
Okay.
like, and get a schedule for that, or you're just gonna do it once?
You know, what you could do is just do, October, every Tuesday in October, just do it at a month at a time. And schedule,
I'll move
and
Just
then
start,
skip them
start
all.
out and
Yep,
then get
skip-
more and
yep.
more as it goes.
I kinda like that idea for a couple reasons. I like the idea of a volunteer who has a heart for this, signing up for like every Tuesday in a month, because that is a lot of, for lack of a better word, ammunition to present to those who are being paid to say, listen, we've been willing to do these things are so important to us. We have people who've committed to every Tuesday for a month, they've, every Thursday for, whatever, that have committed to these things to see that these programs are successful. And we would like to be able to hand that baton over. We've already done this for a month, it's been really successful, it's grown, whatever, you know what I mean? It would be nice to actually have documentation of that effort to ever so gently shame.
And we know that there are a lot of people in the women in the senior center who crochet and knit. Right, Elaine? Yes. I mean, how many sit at your table? 4 of them at least, right? Right.
And, I'm also gonna start joining them, I'm in the same boat as you, I'm building a house, remodeling, big time. But I'm also gonna start bringing my quilting stuff on Tuesdays or Thursday afternoons and sew and quilt. Because right now, my house is so dirty that I can't stand it. So I'm gonna join them as soon as I can. I have a busy couple weeks, but I'm also gonna do the same thing.
I'll round up a cork board and some 3x5 cards, 'cause I think that's a great idea that you could communicate.
Okay.
I need this, I need that.
Yeah.
But
What do you mean?
whoever's running whatever program is going.
Whoever
based on
shows
what
up?
I've heard, no, but based on what I've heard, if you want people to know the activity's happening, apparently the activity director keeps it secret. So as the owner, as the leader of the thing, just go announce it to
We
the
have to
senior
stand up
center
and
once
announce
in
it
a
after
while.
basic announcement.
Yes,
Well, put it
take
on
the
this
ownership
big-
and get the people there to get it started.
Or we can ask Jenna to do it, and if she doesn't do it, then do it yourself.
And then we've documented it.
And put
See, I think this is important. I think it's important that we make these requests respectfully
Yeah.
and with enthusiasm and excitement about this opportunity. And I think we need to document if nothing happens. I think that we need to start documenting.
Right.
If we don't document, it's someone just, oh, they're just spouting off, they're just angry. I mean, and we get dismissed. We need,
Well, I sent.
seniors already get dismissed enough as it is.
Marie, I sent to the board, to every board member and everybody that I wanted to have the bingo thing on the agenda for our last board meeting. Totally ignored. I sent it to every person. You got it. You got it.
As long as it was sent not to the township.
No, I sent it to your personal. Sent it to everybody that I wanted this on the agenda for the board meeting a week ahead of time. And it was not even mentioned.
No, it wasn't put on the agenda.
It was not put on the agenda, and I documented it.
Did you ask them, could you please confirm receipt of this email?
No, but everybody got it. There's documentation, it's there.
But the people who have the power to put it on the agenda, I think it's important because that also is a level of respect. It's not, and I'm not talking about you showing respect, I'm talking documenting they did not show the
She
respect to
doesn't-
you.
I don't
to
get
even
ans-
read the email that requested confirmation that the email was
Okay,
received.
then I did not do that, but.
It's just, I mean, I've started doing.
Right, no,
when
I
I've
hear
been
you.
in those situations, when people won't respond to me.
Right.
And I'm in a professional interaction with them, I'll say, please respond. I had to, back to the foster care nightmare. Would you please respond that you did this? I'm asking you, I'm trying to help this child, and you won't even answer my questions. So could you please respond to show me you at least got this email, even if you don't have an
Right.
answer yet?
Right.
But to do that, because then again, you're saying, you're not even, either you're not reading it, which is not respectful, or you're not respecting my request. Either one is not acceptable.
Well, the bummer here is Karen works for me.
Yeah.
I'm elected, she is hired by the board, and I can't get an answer.
I understand.
And that's so frustrating. I don't know where to go with it.
And I always put that, I don't put it in caps, but I put it in bold at the base, like a couple asterisks.
So there's
know.
26 Tuesdays and Thursdays between the end of the year. I just counted them up. So there's 26 Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if we're going to prove that Tuesdays and Thursdays are important and robust, we need to be organized in the way that we go about this. So I will, and this is from 9 to 4.
I have a suggestion based on Dana's idea. What if we do one Thursday a month quilting?
One Thursday a month quilting?
What do you
Is that what
think?
you said?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And quilting could be done
Well, the movie.
with other
You
activities
could have a
too,
movie
can't it?
going on and do anything else along with
Yeah,
it.
you could do
Well,
quilting
I
during a
wouldn't,
movie.
no, well,
If people bring their sewing machine and somebody's trying to listen
Oh,
to a
Yeah.
movie,
sewing
they'd be
machine?
like,
Well-
hey, stop sewing, I can't.
Right, no,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
They
yeah,
aren't
sewing-
complimentary.
I didn't
Maybe
realize
with the crocheting and the knitting and stuff, I mean, it could
Yeah.
be like this big, huge,
Right, craft activities.
yeah, fabric-y
Quilting,
kind
right.
of craft type thing.
On-
But you have to watch what you mix quilting with because of the womp 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 that
Yeah.
the machine makes.
so you want to start with that?
Sure. On Thursday afternoon, you want to do Thursday afternoon, or what would you like?
You're saying
Well,
once a
no,
month, though.
Thursday afternoon is euchre,
Right, so we can't do that.
so can't
Tuesday
do
afternoon.
it on Thursday
Tuesday
afternoons.
morning.
What about Tuesday?
Well, see,
And
that's
to
why we
me,
need a
If I'm
calendar.
gonna go there and set my quilting stuff up, I wanna be there more than 2 hours.
Right, I
It
agree.
takes you like 45 minutes just to get it set up.
It takes you 45 minutes, takes me 10.
Oh, all right.
Wow. That was a little snarky. I'm gonna put that in the minutes.
Snarky? Little snarky.
Okay.
Snarky quilters.
So as we're talking, I will say, because this, Dana brings up an interesting conflict. Cheryl added to the agenda on Monday night for the Board of Trustees that they vote on whether or not to allow us to play euchre for money at the senior center. Euchre is a game of chance. I mean, yeah, a game of skill.
Skill.
Euchre is a
Skill and
game of
chance.
skill. And you're allowed to play games of skill for money at senior centers. And 2 weeks before that, it had been turned down. And then this week on Monday, they approved playing euchre for money, having a euchre tournament at the senior center. And it is Thursdays from 1 to 4, is it not?
Yes, well, like 12.
So anything that happens on Thursday needs to be compatible in the afternoon with playing euchre.
Is that every Thursday?
Every
Yes.
Thursday from 1 to 4. And so we have that time covered by Nancy. So we have Thursday mornings and we have Tuesday mornings and Tuesday afternoons.
Now, we could do quilting with card games. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I would think so, yeah.
So,
At next Monday night meeting in 2 weeks, they will be discussing whether or not we can play bingo for money.
no, that's not true. We rescinded Karen's statement, which also includes bingo.
Yeah, it was rescinded. It wasn't a new motion. It was, we rescinded what Karen
She,
had
her
done.
declaration of no playing for money was rescinded, so that includes bingo.
Oh,
But not all of
The
us want to
formal
go back to
approval, I
that.
think, is going to come, do you remember, Marie, that there was like, it was gonna take 1 week to make sure that we didn't have a rule that said we couldn't, there was a conflict between what was in our rules?
there
and-
will be
yeah.
discussion in
That'll
the
be
future
fixed.
about playing bingo for money.
It's gonna be fixed.
Yeah.
The
Well,
state
some of it-
rules say that you're
Just
limited.
understand something with this rule thing that we hear all the time. If there's a conflict with one rule to the next rule to the next rule, that all needs, if there is conflicts from rule to rule, they rescinded what it was that you couldn't play for money. The state says you can't, the state says it's okay to be able to function at the senior center for what it is. It was our rule that did that. Is it a rule or a policy? To the best of my knowledge, that's a rule. If there is no written policy. If there's a written policy that needs to be produced like today,
It was
Yeah.
a Karen rule,
yes. So if it is just a rule that's been put out there,
and it was rescinded.
and that was rescinded, then it doesn't exist. So there is no problem for rule after rule after rule after
So you're
rule.
saying it's like a past practice
That's
as opposed to an official policy?
an official, and that's what I guess for me personally, I want to see a policy. If the board voted for a policy, they need to understand that that could have been done, Ben, you've been there forever, so the policy could have passed in 1970 or 1980 or 1990. But you need to see that policy, if it is a policy. If it's simply someone making a rule that says that, I think Sherry is correct. The board needs to come to say, all right, we agree with that rule, that it should be in effect. Does that make any sense?
But I thought the rule got taken away.
So, well.
It did,
that's what I'm saying,
pending
it got
this-
taken away. So they
Rescinded
rescinded
it.
what happened. So the question when you keep bringing up, I keep hearing this because I hear it all the time, there's always something else there. Well, where is that something else that's there? And that's the part I don't really see. You understand what I'm saying? When I say something, there's always at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 places that it's supposed to be. The law is very much like that. I know just recently, this is what I'll quickly say, then I'll shut up. The election law says A, B, and C. That's what we based it on. We don't have a policy because we can't. It's a statutory requirement
Right.
that you do A, B, and C. So that's something that the board understands. That is the law. That's a statutory requirement that you have to do this. Now, the board can organize itself almost any way it wants to organize itself. It can change our board rules. It can change however we decide through a rule that this is what we want to do, or a policy, if the board is making that policy. But that policy needs to be read. We need to understand it, if it's there. If it's not there, then don't worry about it. But following one after another, or 2 or 3 different things when it said, we have to check on it, that's a time-consuming, sucking the air out of the room thing. If it's not there, it's not there. And yes, Karen should know that. She should know, being the top elected official.
She's not elected.
Not elected.
Not elected.
Well.
Hired.
Or I say that, the top hired official employee who keeps track of what it is that we have or don't have, would know that not within 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but within a day or 2, the max. Does that make any sense? I sound like.
I like the way we're moving forward here with scheduling some time and our taking the initiative. I was just going to say that Thursdays in the afternoons from 1 to 4, they will be playing euchre. It does involve money. There are about 20 people that come and play euchre. It is one of our best attended activities at the senior center. So I just want to move quickly, if you
I have
don't
a
mind.
question about the euchre. Do they still have to pay that $1 to the township for?
I don't know.
I don't know either, I don't know either.
No, they didn't before, so
But
they should
wait,
now.
just one
Go ahead.
comment, I'm sorry, I'll be quick. If we had a calendar we could look at,
Right.
I could know Tuesdays would work.
Can I go out
For-
and ask for somebody to run us a calendar?
Good luck, because I couldn't find one. She said there is one, but I looked all over that website.
Oh, no, I
and
was talking about a schedule of events. I didn't say a calendar. I said you were
Well,
correct.
to me, the calendar is the schedule of events. It says, okay, on Thursday, we've got euchre every Thursday,
It's-
or.
okay,
If you have
I'll
a
get
regular
it.
calendar that states
Bath
that
Township Senior
every
Center.
Thursday is,
The senior
simple.
center calendar?
No, we need one that
I know, we
says,
used to have one. There was.
There
a-
used to be a small one like you'd get from MSU Credit Union that hung on the wall. It was little small squares, but at least it was something.
And you could go on the computer and check it. It was available electronically, which is what I was
Now
trying
there's
to
just,
find.
this is the only thing I see is it 2,000, it's a list of activities for the
And
month.
that's annoying. I don't care about a list of activities. I wanna know when they're gonna happen.
Okay.
You can buy blank calendars.
Yeah, she's saying though that the
I said,
staff,
All right.
If they have this alleged senior center that has alleged activities, tell me when the activity is.
put it on a
If
calendar.
you say, oh, they aimlessly hopscotch, every, whatever, it's just on the list of activities when you go out and start hopscotching, you don't know. So give me a calendar that tells me what's going on.
Yep, we'll make that
That's where
suggestion.
another newsletter would be helpful.
Yeah, I asked, the first day I went in there, I asked if anybody would be interested at the senior center, who, patrons, if they would be interested in providing leadership to the development of a newsletter. I think there's so much we could do with a newsletter, but the people that were in there that Tuesday weren't interested. But it doesn't mean that there aren't other people who are writers who wouldn't be interested.
He had something to say.
Ben?
On the list, on your menu, the back side of it lists activities, but it lists no activities other than the hand and foot, basically, it's in the mornings. On the Tuesdays and Thursdays, it lists no activities whatsoever.
That's correct.
That's the way it's set up right now.
That's correct. It's it isn't very useful.
So they do print a calendar and
No,
put it on the
it's
back
not.
of the menu?
No, it's that activities
A list of
list.
That's a
activities.
stupid thing.
List of activities on the back of the
On the
menu.
back of the menu.
That's stupid.
Okay, well, I'm gonna plan a trip to Riverwalk Theater in December too for Christmas bells. It'll probably be a Sunday afternoon matinee.
What's Riverwalk Theater?
Down on the river, Grand River in
Theater.
Lansing by Impressions 5.
Riverwalk Theater
It's a really
in
pretty
December,
little
you said?
Yeah.
Theater, yeah.
I don't
It
know.
looks like,
I don't.
Come with us. it'll be
it's
fun.
been the 7th through the 10th, or the 14th through the 17th. I'll pick a Sunday and I'll plan it.
All right,
was the
this
name of the
sounds good, and
activity?
so
Silver-
Riverwalk Theater.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Silver bells, did you say?
we should
No,
formalize
Christmas
this a little bit more.
Christmas bells.
Maybe we can sit down at the senior center one day and on a Tuesday or Thursday and, kind of work out some of this stuff. I'm gonna be gone for the next 10 days, so I can't do it for the next 10 days, but it doesn't, I don't have to be there. Okay, I just need to quickly move on here to, an update on the expansion. So you have the plans here that the architect drew for the building expansion. This little drawing is existing, that's what we have right now. And then the expansion is this part down here. It's 1,981 square feet. You can see renderings, and the drawing on the back is the basement. We've suggested a full basement, which would be very helpful. And then I had a builder get current prices from local companies for how much it would cost to build this building with a full basement. $500,022.
Why are you doing a full basement?
So we have storage, and they're gonna take down the storage shed that we have. And the basement here, one of the rooms is full of our stuff at the senior center. And also, it would be very helpful if we had a tornado, that we had a shelter where people could go. And, there needs to be more storage for even pantry items, so,
Where are you proposing the new building be or the expansion be?
so this is, if you look at the next page, you'll see the existing building, and this is the proposed addition.
So that proposed addition comes out into the parking lot?
No, on the other side of the building.
Backside,
This
So I
is
need north,
west.
south, east, so you're
West.
talking, you're going north.
north, on the north side, you're
So
going on
tee
the
off.
north
Side.
Tee off the north side.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to me, if you lift a building up, you're gonna have to lift the building.
No, it's
to be
this, we
able
would
to-
just put the basement
But
under
that's
the
north.
addition.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay,
and
I thought
that's
it
where
was
the hill
going
goes
north.
anyway.
And that kinda makes
And
sense
I think a
anyway.
tornado shelter would be a good thing to have, the way the weather's been lately.
But are you cutting into the cemetery then?
No,
Okay.
So I just wanted you to have this for your packet, for your files, because if someone asks you a question about it, I think it's important for us to be able to answer those questions and point to the information that we've collected. I didn't bring the data, which I gave all of you, I'm sorry, I'll get you the data. The data shows clearly on the meal program that we've gone from, serving an average of 60 meals a week in August of last year to serving an average of 90 meals a week, in July.
Don't you mean a
So
day?
we've definitely seen, what?
Don't you mean a day?
A day, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
a
I was gonna
day.
say a week, 90, that's only 30.
So we were serving 60 a day, now we're serving on the average 90 a day.
Yep.
And so we've had a steady increase in the meal program. The kitchen has outgrown the kitchen, and they need a walk-in fridge and a walk-in freezer and more storage space. And as long as they're putting an addition, as long as they have to expand the kitchen, they might as well complete the addition. And we need the space, because there's not enough room at the table anymore for everyone to sit down. So anyways, there we are on that. Does
Can I ask
anybody
one
have any
question?
questions?
Yes. Why are they not back to 5 days of serving food?
Well, hopefully that will be in the budget
we're working on it.
for 2024.
Okay.
That we would be open 5 days and serve meals 5 days. Personally, in my memory, I don't remember having the senior center serve meals 5 days. I know that we served meals 4 days so that Mary could shop on Tuesday, and we brought in a meal on Tuesday, so Mary didn't have to cook. But we did have meals 5 days a week.
It just didn't, the numbers just weren't there. The need wasn't there at that time, but now that COVID and everything else, we're not sure. We want to do it this way, be successful being open, and then add later if we can, if the need
We'll
is
move
there.
into it slowly.
Saturday and Sunday is also another option, long range too, is,
Yeah.
I mean, that's, to me, that's, everything's open
Yeah.
to what's possible.
Yep.
As need arises, and we just have to
Because one of the
go
things we
there.
wanted open for was the heating and cooling
Right.
center,
Yep.
and you can freeze on Saturday just as well as you can on Friday.
Exactly, and heat and the pollution and all that, that was,
So I have invited the director of the Clinton County Transit Authority to come to the table and have a discussion with us. I've talked with her about some different things. The parking is an issue at the senior center, always has. We have talked about whether or not the seniors would park down at Four Corners and be shuttled up by the blue bus to the senior center. She and I have talked about whether or not, again, to cut down on the number of cars, we would have a route that she would pick people up for lunch and bring them to the senior center. So she would fill the bus with patrons from Bath Township who were coming to the senior center for lunch, and then they would be there to take them back after lunch. And I think especially in winter, and many of our patrons are getting older and more uncomfortable with driving, that would be another possibility of ways to work together and partner with them. If you have other suggestions, I am interested in inviting her to a meeting, but I also feel very strongly that it's very difficult to talk about collaboration at the senior center without the coordinator at the table with us. It's just like I would really like to, and the library is very interested in talking with us about collaboration, but I don't feel that we can have an effective conversation about programs and services that the library or that the Clinton Area Transit Authority would have without having Jenna at the table, or someone from the senior center, or at least Karen, who would be able to relay the information to Jenna. So I've really held back on inviting those people to the table.
Have we, don't laugh out loud if we have we officially requested through Karen that Jenna be present at our meetings? Have we officially made that request?
Yep.
And did she respond or not respond?
With no.
And what was her reason? Did she give a reason or no?
This needs to go to the board. The board has to
Yeah, this
say,
is-
this is an order, this is what your job is, and I will definitely do that.
Well, Jenna should be at the table.
Yeah.
Mary's been at the table before, which has been helpful. So, next on the agenda is superintendent's report. Obviously, she's not here. But, Cheryl, do you want to talk about the, Board of Trustees meeting? Or, I would like to talk as you were speaking about the budget. So do you want to, it's your turn, number 10, BOT update.
I pretty much said everything that I brought up to the board. I'm frustrated as you guys are. It's the people that are elected that hire the people that are being paid, and the frustration level that I feel, that batting my head against the wall is what it feels like. I asked for things to be on the agenda and I'm ignored. There's a huge problem with communication all the way around. You know, it was me that forced it to be open 5 days a week through ever more it took.
It didn't take very long at all. You know, we had a community conversation, and that's what people said that they wanted, and so we're just moving forward with those recommendations. My concern is about the budget. They are starting to do the budget process for next year. In past years, when Dan was our superintendent, he would bring all the worksheets to us, and we'd look at how many hours the coordinator was being paid for, and how many hours the cook was being paid for, how many hours the assistant cook was being paid for, how many hours the center would be open, what the food costs would be, you know, what we should set the meal prices at. And we don't see any of that right now. There is in the budget a line item for the senior center. I have asked Karen if she would break that out for us so we could see the detail. I have not had a response from Karen about that, but I think that it's important, and we're not going to be successful with what we feel the senior center should be if we can't see the budget detail behind the senior
Okay,
center
so I need
budget.
to ask for that. I'll make a request and have it answered, as you said. That I want a breakdown of everything that is,
You want the budget detail for the senior center?
okay.
Number of hours, number of people, number of hours, what they're being paid?
Yeah, and truly,
You would
the,
not, you want, you would like.
I am going to get would be more,
Okay. You
And-
haven't been successful yet, so.
no.
Good luck.
Well, it needs to, if I'm not successful, then it needs to come and be a board vote, that we need this to operate. I'm making a motion, will this board vote it? And if she can't follow the board's directions, either the board's gonna vote me down, which I don't see why they would, and if she doesn't, again, follow what the board asks, she's not doing her job. And that's what.
It's a 4-2 vote, I see it already. No, I'm just joking.
It might not be, because there's more senior
Yeah.
support, I think, than a lot of other stuff.
Well, the
Okay.
vote for Euchre was unanimous.
Right, it was, when I got it there, it was.
The vote to play for
Yep.
money was unanimous, so
Yep.
we have a lot of support on the board
Yep.
for moving forward. I don't think that we should rock the boat, you know, but I think that there are things that I feel that would be helpful for us moving forward to make sure that the senior center is funded at the level of which we feel is important.
And that we can't do that, we couldn't, you ask me as a board member to vote for more money, and I don't know what, I have no details. I
No
want the
context.
details.
Yeah, there's no context.
There's no, yeah, and it's like.
More than what?
Yeah, and for, what are we paying for and what are we getting now? And I don't know. I've
Right.
never seen the details like you said you used to get.
Right.
So that has to become a
And the
very
budget, they are
strong
working on the
request.
budget right now, so we
Right.
have to be diligent about
Yep.
this, so. Any other comments from the Senior Services Advisory Board? We have now time for public comment. Do you have anything you would like to share with us, Elaine?
Anything else about the senior center?
That's what we're talking about.
I want the girls in the office to be out and greet people when they come in instead of sitting back in their office.
Me too, I want a little table out there like we had at Ticket Time.
Yes, and I like that, where we could, like, when we were sitting there, when we could be one-on-one with people, and they, yep, and name tags, I brought name tags in. I've already given them to Jenna,
Oh, when did you do that?
last week.
Good job.
I brought in a whole bunch, they're yellow, and they got the clips on them, all she has to do is make the little cards to go up in the clips. And
That's-
there's not.
That's something we could do as an activity.
Yeah. Well, we've been asking for name tags. Nancy's been asking them for months. Thank you,
You're
Elaine.
welcome.
It could be the first craft activity.
Reader.
Make
And
name
I'll
tags.
say, I like the idea too of them coming out to the table. I don't think it'll get approved because there's still COVID out there and they like that glass kind of
Then
between
they
them.
can wear a mask. if they-
Right,
Jenna can
That's
come
true,
out.
they
You
could.
can have Linda handling money at the window, but you can also have
Jenna
Jenna
could be
out
out.
there greeting people. And if she wants to wear a mask, let her wear a mask. But she is the person that should be out there greeting.
All
And
of
it's
our
not
prior
Linda.
coordinators did that. They went out and met people at the tables
No
and talked
way.
to them.
Yep.
But Jenna,
And
No
when I
way.
asked Jenna where to turn the, that I wanted the microphone to make an announcement for lunch that, I don't remember what it was. And she pointed over in the corner,
Instead of getting it for you.
instead of getting it or taking me over there. And I said, would you say exactly where it is? I mean, it was like, she was busy going, sitting in the office.
Right.
And I'm a board member, so it's like,
I think it's important too if, I mean, has Jenna expressed, do we know any history of like COVID concerns? Do we know of anything about that? Then
No.
my suggestion would strongly be that those working have one of the clear masks because a lot of our seniors cannot hear well. There is a little lip reading going on. It's very hard for them to hear when people have masks on. So if we could have at least, so they could see their
See mouth,
faces.
yeah.
if she's worried about that, she's not wearing a mask.
she's not wearing a
yeah.
mask.
I'm just saying,
Right.
if anyone raises that concern, I do think we should have preemptively planned for any masks that are requested to be clear masks. Because I know I struggle. If I can't see a little bit of lip reading, if there's background noise, and then they're also muffled with that mask,
Muffled a lot, too.
it's very hard for me to hear. And,
I like your suggestion for a greeter at the door and name tags. I don't know how many, I don't know what it's gonna take to move that mountain.
I don't either, but there's so many people that I see their faces every week, but I don't know who they are.
Right, you can't even remember. I had the most delightful, I had my most delightful conversation with a man at lunch today. I mean, I've seen him in there a few times, but we just had a delightful time. He shared pictures with me, you know. I have no idea what his name is.
To your left or right?
He was to my left with a plaid shirt on.
Okay, I don't remember who.
Yeah, you probably don't know his name either.
Yeah, that would be
Anyway.
so helpful.
Thank you for your comments. Anything else to come before the group? We meet again on October 18th.
Deb's waving her hand.
as the new secretary, who was introduced to everyone prior to knowing that she was the new secretary. If people could say their names and perhaps spell them so that I could state who was present for the minutes and is anyone absent?
Nancy Hoyland, Hoyland, and Jean Jones, both are excused. My name is Judy Gardy, Gardi.
Who's the two missing, Nancy Hoyland and who?
And Jean, what was the last? I'm sorry. Jones, both excused.
Refreshments at the Valley Farms.
And is Jean, Jean, conventional spelling? Okay,
Yep.
all right.
Dennis Lardy, Lardie.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Helen Murphy, MURPHY.
Thank you, dear. Okay. And,
Mine's correct.
very good. I've already got this gentleman.
Dana,
Cheryl
Cheryl to talk
Kellerman.
about